Hello and welcome to this tutorial, and today we are looking at function composition. Function composition is an operation that takes two functions where the output of one function becomes an input of another. Now, let's say we have two functions f and g. When composed to f of g, the output of g of x becomes the input of f of x. Okay, so let's go ahead and have those two functions. And we see in function notation, we have f of g of x can be rewritten as f of g of x. Now, this is the most important point we need to understand. Why do we have these nested functions? Why do we have a function inside a function? This is the true definition of function composition. You notice that if we look at it, f of x is actually taking g of x as an input. So whatever g of x does, once we process the inside function of g of x, it becomes our input of f of x. Okay? Now, I need to step back a bit to understand what's happening here. Let's say we've seen this in our previous example, where we have f of 2, which is equals to 2x plus 1. All we are saying is that where we have the function input, which is 2, replaces the value of x on the right hand side. Therefore, we have f of 2 is equals to 2 multiplied by 2 plus 1. In this instance, what we are saying here is that f input is equals to whatever the values of x becomes our input on the right hand side of the equation. The input here can be anything. It can be 4x plus 1, it can be 3x, or even a quadratic equation. So, let's work out an example and see what is the outcome. In this scenario, we have two functions, f of x, which is 3x plus 1, and g of x, which is equals to 2x squared plus 5x minus 2. First question, what is g of f of x? And the second question is, what is f of g of x? Let's rewrite these two equations first. G of f of x, and this one becomes f of g of x. Let's identify the inner functions. In the first problem, we see the nested function is f of x, and in the second function, we see is g of x. So let's start with problem number 1, then work out problem number 2. G in brackets, I'll put some brackets here, equals to 2 in brackets plus 5 in brackets minus 2. Before I fill in the values, if we say f of 2 is equals to 2x plus 1, what we rewrite is f of 2 is equals to 2 in brackets 2 plus 1. Notice that the inputs replaces the values of x. So similarly, on our left hand side of the calculation, inside the g of x is our f of x, which is the inner function 3x plus 1. Here we have 3x plus 1. We have 3x plus 1. Not to forget that the value of x is squared in the right hand side. So all we have to do now is we have to calculate the right hand side, which gives us the solution to g of f of x. So let's go ahead and say 2 in brackets 3x plus 1 multiplied by 3x plus 1. This is 3x plus 1 squared. We get our solution, which becomes, you can calculate it, 9x squared plus 6x plus 1 in brackets plus 15x, we open the brackets here, plus 5 minus 2. This becomes 18x squared plus 12x plus 2 plus 15x plus 3. Collecting like terms, we have 12x and 12 and 15x, 2 and 3. So we get 18x squared plus 27x plus 5. So this is our solution for the first problem. Let's go to the second problem, f of g of x, and let's go ahead and do the calculations. We have f, and then we have in brackets equals to, and then we have 3 in brackets plus 1. So all we have to do is we have to input the values of g of x, which is 2x squared plus 5x minus 2. And here we have 2x squared plus 5x minus 2, which equals to 6x squared plus 15x minus 6 plus 1. Hence, our answer is 6x squared plus 15x minus 5. To be very honest, these are the simplest problems you can ever encounter in mathematics. And it's as easy as that. Try and understand what is the inner function. And the inner function becomes your input of the outer function. So we work from inside out or right to left. Thank you guys for your time, and see you in my next video.